Hi, this is Marnie Marcus and Sue Painter back with the online business reality show, or Marnie and Sue's Peep Show, where we pull back the curtains on our lives and businesses and talk about what's working, what's not, what frustrates us, what makes us happy. So, Sue, glad to see you again.
Thanks. It's good to see you. I'm in Florida now, and you can see my Florida setup behind me. So this is a great idea for people if you have a small space and you need to kind of block it off and make it look more presentable. I got this idea from Lynn Terry, which is to just buy a foldable screen, and then you can put it behind your camera and it kind of blocks off the rest of the room. And or it blocks off, maybe you have a light source that is too, the light is too much and you need to block it off for camera purposes. And then you can just put it behind your camera and then fold it up and stick it in a closet when you don't need it. So I totally cribbed that idea from Lynn Terry. So thanks, Lynn, for passing that on to me. We were having lunch one day a couple of months ago, and she was like, oh yeah, I bought this Soji screen, and I couldn't find a Soji screen, but I found this at Pier 1 or something. I figured it'll work.
I'm going to have to get me one of those. I like that. That's a good idea. Rather than having distracting stuff behind you or whatever.
Yeah. And then if you wanted to, pin something on it that's a visual or something, you could do that, or you could put, like a flip chart, you could put flip chart pieces of paper if you were teaching. So anyway, I'm liking it. So that was a suggestion from Lynn Terry from Click News. And Lynn is a friend of both of ours. Both Marnie and I have known Lynn for a long, long time, right, Marnie? Yep. So what's going on with you? Marnie and I were talking just before we went live about business being feast or famine, and sometimes you have to go back to hours for dollars. So Marnie, you want to talk a little bit about that, and then we can talk about that whole scarcity thing you and I were talking about.
Yeah, I was, well, everybody knows my whole thing of restarting and everything. And so I had come from a position in my business where I could make small tweaks. I'd make bigger sums of money just with small tweaks, ideas that were leverageable. You sign people up and a whole bunch of people are paying you a monthly retainer, and, this kind of ongoing revenue stream from multiple sources. And so my mindset is such that I didn't want to go back to hours for dollars, swapping my hours for dollars. So I kept looking for the big leverageable idea. And I had people, asking me for the tech help. and even the product creation thing I avoided, because I didn't want to have to go back to something that was more just training people in hours for dollars. But I kind of got forced into it just by beating my head against the wall. And sometimes you got to do, I think, in business, the stuff that you don't want to do. But it finally dawned on me, I built my business by starting out hours for dollars originally. It was a computer trainer and consultant, and I swapped my hours for dollars. And as I did that, I made contacts and I learned key things. I learned strategies and things that helped me create duplicatable, these passive revenue streams. And so the thought occurred to me the other day, I was like, just go this way. You're fighting it, and what you resist persists. So just go this direction and see where it leads, because there's somebody I'm going to meet along the way, or some idea, somebody's going to trigger an idea for me, and I'll find that thing that creates the passive income again. But to just jump straight to that passive income idea, I think everybody's looking for the big ship to come in, the big idea that will solve all their problems, the big lottery win that'll wipe all their debt out or whatever. And I don't think life works that way. I think it probably works more organically.
Yeah.
So that's my philosophy for today.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that Marnie was thinking of that and talking about that just before we went live, because I have been spending the last, I don't know, maybe week, thinking about that very same thing. I usually am really good at seeing what is on the horizon of things. And Marnie, I think you're pretty good at that too. You and I are both good. We've been online long enough that we understand what's going on, and we can kind of feel and see the shifts that are occurring. And if you have been following the Peep Show for very long, you know that Marnie and I have both been saying that things online have changed very rapidly. And a small example of that is that Marnie and I have been talking about the fact that a lot of the people who are doing live stream have gone over to Periscope and especially to Blab, which is what Marnie and I would have to do since there's two of us. And with Periscope, you can only have one person live at a time. And we've talked about doing that. Marnie has resisted it because she doesn't want to have to learn how to do it, even though it's very easy to do. But the fact of the matter is, I have heard more than one person say that Blab and Periscope are going to be the end of Google Hangouts on Air. Really tracks. We may have 3 or 4 people watching us here today on Google Hangouts on Air, even if that many. But if we were over on Blab, I've only ever done 2 Blabs, and I've already got several hundred followers. And people are looking all the time, like what's live that they could, what's live that they could join in. So I actually think that Marnie and I would have a wider audience if we moved over to Blab. And, then you can still keep the recording of the video, and you can still put it up on YouTube and share it out to Twitter and do all the other things that we like to do with it. So that's one change. But more than that, things that were the models that worked well online for the last probably, Marnie, 5 or 6 years maybe, are inundated now, and there's so many people. There's absolutely no barrier to entry. Anybody can put up a website, anybody can do live stream, internet live stream, TV. Anybody can call themselves a coach or a healer or a transformational worker or an energy healer. Because while there are some credentials about some of those things, you actually could call yourself that without a real credential. And so it all becomes about who markets the loudest, not really who has the highest quality of service to offer. For people like Marnie and me who have been around for a long time and who have paid our dues and who really know the stuff we're talking about, that seems foreign and also kind of off-putting to us. And so we both see that there is more and more noise in the system, and more people flocking in trying to use the models that were new and shiny 5, 6, 7 years ago. But guess what? Those models are 5, 6, 7 years old. And as we all know, in the online world, things change drastically about every 6 to 8 months. So those models are really no longer working. And then that has caused things that were kind of sacrosanct in the online world to to crumble. And I was talking to Marnie about this just before we went live too. The online world has always been a very collaborative world. We always help each other out with tech questions, and we've always, promoted for each other. And Marnie's got a new book. I'm happy to let people know about it. I have a new book. Marnie's happy to let people know about it. It's a very collaborative atmosphere. You become really good friends with people who you actually physically have never met before. And then once a year or so, you might end up in the same conference with them, and you finally get to actually meet live who you've actually been doing business with and making money with for a while. And that's the thing that I have always actually loved about the online world, is that it has been very collaborative and very generous and friendly in that way. Because I do think that collaboration is the business model that will take us into the future. Well, that has really crumbled lately. And so I've had trouble, and I know others who have had trouble, getting people who we have promoted them for years, and suddenly we want a little promotion about one of our new programs, and they're not reciprocating. And it's hurtful. It really has hurt my feelings. And as a business person, I don't like it, and it kind of peeves me. But as a human person underneath the business person, it really does hurt my feelings. So it's like that whole quid pro quo and that whole collaborative atmosphere has crumbled because people are not doing as well as they used to do, and everybody's trying to kind of grab their piece of real estate. So in the good times, collaboration was fine and dandy, but now that things are tighter in the online world, collaboration is disappearing. And that's a shame, because to me, in my mind, my value is collaboration and generosity should actually never disappear. You might say no to people when it doesn't make any sense and they're asking for too much, but it's harder to say no to somebody who you have collaborated or promoted with for a decade online, and then all of a sudden, that's not working anymore. So there's a lot of mistrust and a lot of kind of smoke and mirrors and a lot of disruption, like energetic disruption in the system. And Marnie and I both are really good at seeing kind of where the flow is going, but it's hard for us to see where the flow is going right now. So you kind of have to regroup and think about what are you going to do to remain solid and to remain viable until you see where all of this change in the online world is going to go. So I've said, Marnie, I'm sure you have had some thoughts since I've been holding forth, but that's how I see anyway the online world, and I'm not the only one. Marnie and I have had this conversation, and in fact I was talking to two other people yesterday by phone, and we were saying it's like we can feel the changes coming, but it's like a big swirl of water. You can't really tell where that flow of water is going to go yet.
Yeah, can't tell if it's going to flush you down a toilet or carry you off to a fast track somewhere else. You know, three things came to my mind when you were talking there. First off, I think the information overload and demise of email has played a big piece. When I say demise of email, I just don't think email is effective anymore. And that's something we could count on for almost 2 decades. That if you emailed, that your message would get through and a certain percentage of people will look at them. Well, now the email rates are pathetic, okay? Mm-hmm. So a lot of times when we built our collaborations off of you email to your people, I email to my people, and that's the way a lot of people think of that. So now you've got this dwindling resource that's barely helping you get your message out. And somebody's coming along and asking you to mail for them. I mean, like in my collaborative nude book, I'm not even asking people to mail. I was like, if you want to, fine. If you don't, but I'm like, I know that's a precious resource. I'm not going to take that from you. I don't even make it part of what they have to do,
right?
To contribute or to play,
right?
And so I think, along with that, the saturation of information has made it almost impossible to systematically get your message out. Like before we knew, okay, we put ourselves on search engines, we blog so often, we send some emails, we do some social media posts, we get so many customers, we have the system down. We know as long as we do it, we will reach people, we will make sales. Doesn't work anymore, broken. You got to find some other way to reach them. So people, I don't care, and I'm not gonna name names or anything, but I'm saying across the board, people who've been around like us for a long time, they're feeling it. They're feeling the crunch, okay? So when you start to feel a crunch and you shift, you kind of shift naturally to this hunker down survival mode kind of thing. And you want to protect your resources, and you start focusing on receiving. It's like, I need to get some more clients. I need to get some more money. So your focus goes to, what can I get? I need to get more. And as long as you're focusing there, you're not focusing on giving. And collaboration is about giving and being more open, arms wide, rather than, you know, tight-fisted. So I think it's just a natural, it's Maslow's laws. If you're, you know, or Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Exactly.
You can't self-actualize when you're down here and you're barely surviving. You're not thinking beyond and collaboration, creativity, all of that, they're higher on that Maslow's laws. So I'm not saying everybody who's telling you or not promoting your thing is all totally in scarcity and about to self-destruct, but I'm saying they're seeing it happen around them, even if it's not happening to them. Like when I was doing Ideal Marketers, I could see that all the other article marketing directories were getting shut down. I watched the people around me drop like flies. Okay. And you can't help but feel that, you know, you're not stupid, you know?
Yeah.
So I think even if some of these colleagues are not feeling it directly themselves, they're watching it happen to the people around them and wondering, am I next?
Yeah, I think a lot of people who are acting like it isn't happening to them, it damn sure is happening to them. I know lots and lots of people who have had a hard time filling their live events lately, and they've pushed a lot harder than they normally do. And they're resorting to, you know, calling by phone and doing things that we used to in the online world never do. And now people are doing that more and more and more. It takes a phone conversation. It takes more immediate contact. So, and you know, all that's fine. I mean, life goes on, and business is always, you always do your business in a series of changes, in a changing environment. If you can't accept that, you shouldn't be in business. But nevertheless, for me anyway, and maybe I am the lone wolf and the, you know, the lone person in the wilderness here. I know that when scarcity sets in and you start hunkering down, you cut off your nose to spite your face, because when you start holding things close to the chest, then what goes around comes around. And sure darn enough, you know, that you are going to come up with an idea, and you're going to want other people to help you get it out, because email rates are not what they used to be, and because your reach is not what it used to be, even on social media. So you're going to come around and ask, and then of course you've told somebody no, and then that's going to set up a quid pro quo. So
It's
yeah,
chicken and egg thing, you know. Yeah, I think it takes an act of faith.
I think it does. You do have to act in faith that things will right themselves. And I'm going to be totally offline and unprofessional right now. And hey, Bill, can you bring me the plug for my computer? I'm about to go down.
Oh, sorry about that happen.
I think I'm starting to have battery problems with my Mac. All the signs are starting to come that it's time for me to invest in a new MacBook Pro. And I don't want to do it. In fact, when we were here last spring, I actually took this one, which is 5 or 6 years old now, and I had them soup it up and put a whole lot more memory in it because it was running too slow. And I was trying to avoid, because it works okay. But what's happening now is all this cloud software and everything is drawing so much power. And now I'm noticing my battery is starting to weaken, and not even this Peep show, we've only been on 20 minutes. And I just unplugged my computer when we went live, and it's already just about gone. So something's wrong with the battery for sure. So, and it's running real hot, like it's almost so hot I can't touch it. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it. Oh, it's not lighting up. You must need to turn on a wall switch, maybe. So anyway, we'll see. If I disappear, then I don't know what to say, Marnie.
Can you buy a new battery? Just buy a new battery?
Yeah, you can buy new batteries, and I certainly would buy a new battery. I will point out that in the usual Apple ilk, batteries for the MacBook Pro are about 4 times what they are for a PC. So, but that's still not a new. I would only buy a new Mac because of the storage capability and the speed, which is, I need more of it because programs require more of it. I really wouldn't. Bill, it's not working. I really wouldn't do it for any other reason. So at any rate, that's the scoop for that. But I guess our point is, if you feel like you're kind of in the midst of a big change, and you really feel where it is that you need to go, sometimes you do have to kind of back up, and you just have to float a little bit and see if you can kind of discern where it is. Maybe try plugging it over here, Bill. Maybe that's a dead plug. And eventually you'll be able to see that there's going to be a little place that's going to take you forward. I don't know. I'm just wondering. I'm just thinking that, Marnie, you and I did something about business renovation not long ago. You remember we did that video a couple years ago, and I'm thinking we need to do that again, honestly. Because I hear a lot of people who are searching for, like, what is my next thing? And do I have to go back and start trading hours for dollars again, like I've done before? So I don't know. Okay, well, you may lose me, Marnie, but we're almost at the half hour anyway. It's not charging up for whatever reason. So, okay. Oh, gosh, I don't want to have to go down to the store and do all that. Guess we'll see. Anyway, what else from you today, or what else do we need to talk about today? Oh, I did want to mention that my group coaching program for next year is open for enrollment. It's confidentmarketer.com/evolve. The name of the program is Evolve. It's a 10-month program. If you're interested in that, go take a look at it. And Marnie, do you have anything coming up that you wanted to let people know about?
I just redesigned my website, marniemarcus.com, new branding type thing, and hopefully it makes more sense. So.
Yeah. Marnie's rebranded, Marnie Marcus Marketing, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it looks good. I took a look. Marnie asked me to take a look at the site, and I thought it looked really great. And that's the kind of collaboration that I'm talking about. You know, we're always saying to each other or to other people who are friends of ours, you know, take a look at this site and, you know, see if you think it needs tweaking. And the first time she showed it to me, I was like, well, I wouldn't, you know, I don't like the picture that you're using in the banner. How about this picture or that picture? And to me, it made a lot of difference. So we always have been able to help each other out in those ways. And I hate to see that going by the wayside. And I think it will go by the wayside because here's what I think will happen. I think a lot of people in the online world will wash out over the next 6 to 12 months and they'll go back to work. And in fact, I've already known people who have just said, screw this, I'm just going to go back and get a job. It's easier to work for somebody else than to try to make it work anymore. So those people who talk to you about how easy it is to make your first 10,000 or your first 100,000 online, they're shooting the line. It's not easy, especially if you're starting from zero and you don't even have a list right now. So pay attention to that, right, Marnie? It's not like make your first $10,000 in the next half hour. If somebody tries to sell you that, run the other direction. That's what I say. What do you say?
They're starting to work 3 years ago, probably is what they're doing. You know, yeah. No.
We're going to do next week on Tuesday at 1:30 Central, 2:30 Eastern, right, Marnie?
That sounds right.
Anything else, Marnie, from you?
I was just thinking, I think it's important that if you do have downtimes, like, I mean, every business is cyclical. The holidays are going to be slower, probably, for most of us who do business to business and stuff. Instead of just doing nothing, use that time to be in creation mode or collaborating, doing something. Like I'm spending the holidays writing a book, you know. So I thought, I know it's going to be slower. I'm going to focus on writing that book during that time.
I'm going to do some of the same things. I'm really thinking about what are the things that I love to do. I mean, I'm totally passionate about working with people who want to, you know, look at how to best build and market their business. And I don't think I'll ever lose that. I think it's just a part of me. But I also do like content creation. I'm a strong writer, and I'm kind of looking at, do I want to kind of segue and do more of that for myself, or maybe do I even want to offer it to other people? Because after all, I was an instructional designer in a previous life, and I certainly know how to take a transcript from a webinar and turn it into a $97 course. So, you know, I might do some of that just because it's new and different for me, and I've got the time to do it. So we'll see what the future brings. It is, you just have to be able to be willing to float, but keep busy and productive while you're floating. Don't just lay out on the beach and say, well, nothing's working, so let me drink another beer. That doesn't work either. Right, Marnie?
No, that doesn't work.
For all of our American people who are watching, we wish you a happy Thanksgiving, but we actually will be on before Thanksgiving next week on Tuesday. And for people who watch outside of the U.S., of course, it doesn't much matter anyway. So we will talk to you guys later, and it's good to be here with you. Do we have any questions, Marnie, today?
No, but you want to try blab on the next one? You'll have to teach me what I do.
Yeah, maybe we'll try a blab on the next one. We'll send some email out about that. The first thing would be to go and download blab.im on your PC or your Mac, whichever you've got, Marnie, and get the software on there, and then follow me and I'll follow you, and then we'll go from there. Okay?
Okay. All righty.
See you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.